Sorry, I always have to, I just had an afterthought about something. I didn't look at my notes. So this is part 2 of the structural and lateralization. Okay, so I just want to explain this because I think it's really important that people know this. Endometriosis, right? And things of that kind of nature. So what will try to happen, the brain will try to protect itself, and it will try to protect areas, or it'll send signals down, and the cells and everything try to develop that area to manage the structural default, right? So say, for example, your hip on this side has been up for a long time, right? And you may feel cramping and stuff sometimes in the front end. You may have cramping in the lower back, or you may have, some herniated or, compressions or whatever in the lower lumbar. And periodically you might feel like shoots of pain or discomfort in there or whatever else. So what happens is like, say, for example, you're a woman and your pelvis has been off for a really long time. And your brain is trying to figure out how to make it all work. So what it may do, because, the uterus is going to be, obviously, if your hips have been off for a long time, then there's something that's majorly happened to create your hips to be off. Which means that your uterus is probably going to be pushed in a funky way, blah, 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 blah. So what the body's going to do is it's going to try to figure out how to help that area in a way that it may know. So what it might do is the brain may send signals about, helping that uterus by growing tissue onto it, to kind of hold it in the place that it's at, because you're structurally out of whack, right? And this also can cause really horrible, PMS and periods in women by having their hips off, their pelvis off. And it can be off all kinds of ways. It can be off like this. It can be off like that and that, where like the crests on your hip bones could be pushed one more forward than the other, and then on top of it, got some sideways action. So what happens to the organs that are inside the body? Because you don't see how jacked up they are. I mean, if your outside is jacked up, then your insides are really jacked up. So the body will try to create new types of connective tissue with nerve passages in order to get back to trying to communicate with this area and support the area in a way that the brain can have a relationship with it, right? Which isn't always good because it causes a lot other damage. Another thing the brain might try to do with the body is it creates a calcification or a wall. And people can have long-term viruses in different parts of your body and your joints and all kinds of stuff, because when your body is off, right, and you're not structurally sound, your lymphatic system doesn't really even... It'll take a while for you to get straight before your lymphatic system will start to rotate and drain. But if it's considerably off, then you have a lot of those highways and channels of your lymphatic system connecting that, deal with a lot of your toxicity, getting rid of your toxicity will break down. And then you'll have tissue calcifications and things like this nature. And then your lymphatics are not going to drain. And you can have pain and blockage and backup, and those kinds of things. And then what will happen is if your lymphatics don't drain, then you start to get viruses and stuff built up in there. And then the body starts to calcify them. And then they become, large lumps. And then eventually they're going to be lymphatic cancer or a cancer tumor. So the body may try to put walls up to contain the viruses and other things that are laying dormant in our body because we're structurally off, or we may have severe brain lateralization in the left hemisphere. And so that would throw us into an acid state, which means it would help the viruses to grow in like a really bizarre mutated form because of the high acidity in the body. And especially if these viruses were, you know, in certain parts of your body, say your right hemisphere is not working at all. And so everything on your left side's just in degeneration. So I just got the itchiest ear. All right. Sorry, just like starting to really bug me. Something's tickling in there. So, you know, the virus can grow and do all kinds of stuff because the right hemisphere is not picking it up. Right? It's not picking it up. And so that virus goes dormant for a while and then it turns into something really nasty, you know. And you have to realize like all this stuff is viral. Okay, so shingles is viral. Chickenpox is like a viral. Herpes virus, viral. Also, you get those big boils with white pus. Even white acne with white pus is staph infection. And once it goes airborne, it's highly contagious. You can breathe it in. So, you know, if you're, you know, popping your zits in the bathroom and then you're not sterilizing it all, you're leaving like staph and strep infection all over those bathrooms for other people. And if other people have autoimmune system diseases or compromised immune system, they could pick up a strep or a staph pretty simply. And so if your structure's off and your side of your brain is not dealing with the side of the body that it's dealing with, and these you catch a virus and it goes to that area and it's hidden for a long period of time, you really mutate and morph into some really, really serious stuff. So it's super important to have whole brain function and a structurally symmetrical body, and eating a, you know, outstanding diet, and, you know, cleaning up the toxicity mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So, all right. Let's see. I think that's about it. Okay. Adios. Bye.